Taipei. Welcome to the Triplers channel. Join us as we set off on a once-in-a-lifetime journey around the world. Over the next 133 days, we will visit 4 continents and make 55 stops across 27 countries. Welcome to Taiwan, a place with a highly complex political situation, which we will explore in a separate film. Around 23 million people live here. The official language is Mandarin Chinese, and the currency is the new Taiwan dollar. Taiwan is globally known for semiconductor production, advanced electronics, data centers, and artificial intelligence, all of which continue to drive its economic growth. In the capital, Taipei, around 2.5 million people live within the city itself, while nearly 7 million live across the wider metropolitan area. In the port of Keelung, we were welcomed by our guide Vincent, and soon we were on our way to Taipei, listening along the road to fascinating stories about Taiwan. Our first stop was the National Revolutionary Martyrs Shrine. Opened in 1969, the shrine commemorates nearly 390,000 soldiers who died in various conflicts during the 20th century. Every hour, between 9 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon, visitors can witness the ceremonial changing of the guard, a performance that lasts about 15 minutes. The ceremony is perfectly choreographed and has become one of the most impressive attractions for visitors. Along the path where the guards march, you can even notice marks left in the stone by years of their precise movements. Inside the complex, the soldiers currently on duty stand completely motionless, without changing even their facial expression, for a full hour, whether under the hot sun or in the rain. The honor guard can come from different branches of Taiwan's armed forces, the Army, the Navy, or the Air Force, and you can recognize them by the color of their uniforms. The main building, the surrounding gardens, and the entire complex make a remarkable impression when seen in person. Everything feels well preserved, carefully maintained, and relatively new. After a short drive, we arrived at the impressive Grand Hotel Taipei, whose iconic main building was completed in 1973. Built on the site of a former Japanese Shinto shrine, dating back to the period of Japanese rule in Taiwan, it has become one of the most recognizable landmarks in Taipei. Its architecture was inspired by a traditional Chinese palace, with massive red columns, golden decorations, and richly ornamented roofs. Standing 87 meters high, it was, for several years, the tallest building in Taiwan, and remains one of the most distinctive hotels in all of Asia. If you have been with us for a while, you already know that trying local food is one of our favorite parts of exploring a new place. This time, Vincent took us to the Sogo complex, where we visited Din Tai Fung, one of the most famous places in Taiwan to try xiao the delicate dumplings filled with hot broth inside. Luckily, we did not have to wait in line because not many people eat lunch at 11 in the morning. Inside, you can watch the art of dumpling making through the glass kitchen. Each dumpling is carefully folded by hand, and the traditional quality standard is 18 precise folds in the dough. Several Din Tai Fung locations have been recognized in the Michelin Guide, which helped make the brand famous far beyond Taiwan. We placed this restaurant very high on our personal list of memorable food experiences. Everything tasted extremely fresh, beautifully prepared, and of excellent quality. The staff was exceptionally polite, constantly refilling our cups with delicious green tea. Service was fast, smooth, and on top of that, there was even a charming little robot guiding guests to their tables. Absolutely brilliant. With full stomachs, happy and well-fed, we continued our day with a visit to the National Palace Museum. Vincent made sure we had a little exercise after lunch, so we began in the beautiful gardens surrounding the museum. Small ponds, benches, and the sound of flowing water create such a peaceful atmosphere that it is easy to forget you are still in the capital of Taiwan. As we continued walking, we reached the monumental staircase leading up to the museum itself. In traditional Chinese architecture, wide ceremonial stairways are often designed to symbolize a formal entrance, a passage from everyday life into a space dedicated to art, knowledge, and culture. And honestly, it works. Beyond the slight shortness of breath and a few calories burned, you immediately feel the majesty of the place and its cultural importance. The building itself was designed to resemble a traditional Chinese palace, with its green roof, curved corners, and perfectly symmetrical facade. With only a few hours available in the city, we could not afford to explore the interior this time, but it is now firmly placed on our list for the moment we return to Taipei. As we walked down toward the entrance, we passed a characteristic ceremonial gate in traditional Chinese style. Crossing such a gate symbolizes entering a place of higher cultural or spiritual importance. Nearby stood the stone guardian lions, placed there to protect the complex and emphasize its significance. In many traditional Chinese architectural settings, the sequence follows a deliberate pattern: gate, open courtyard, staircase, and only then the main building, a layout designed to build anticipation and create a strong sense of monumentality. During the drive, we also wanted to touch on religion in Taiwan. Around 35% of the population identifies with Buddhism, about 33% with Taoism, while Christians make up only around 4% of society. Taiwan is known for its high level of education and an excellent public transport system. On the streets, you quickly notice the huge number of scooters, yet drivers tend to use their horns far less often than in many other Asian cities. The urban landscape also feels highly eclectic, because spatial planning here is generally less restrictive than in much of Europe, allowing very different types of buildings and businesses to exist side by side. We are standing at Liberty Square Archway, a monumental gate completed in 1980, rising about 30 meters high. Its 5 openings symbolize a ceremonial entrance into an important civic space, while the blue roof reflects the colors of the national flag. On the left side, beyond the gate, stands the National Concert Hall, one of Taiwan's most important performance venues, designed in the style of a traditional Chinese palace. On the right side is the National Theater, opened, like the concert hall, in 1987. The square itself was once known as Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Square, but in 2007 it was officially renamed Liberty Square as a symbol of Taiwan's democratic transformation. At National Concert Hall, you can also try pearl milk tea, better known as bubble tea or boba. Created in Taiwan in the 1980s, it has become one of the island's most recognizable products worldwide. The pearls are black tapioca balls that become soft and chewy after cooking. The drink itself is based on strong tea, usually mixed with regular milk or condensed milk. Interestingly, the word bubble originally referred not to the tapioca pearls, but to the foam created when the drink was shaken vigorously. Leading up to Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall are 89 steps, symbolizing the 89 years of Chiang Kai-shek's life. The white color of the building represents purity, while the blue roof reflects the colors of the national flag. Inside stands a large statue of Chiang Kai-shek, the political leader whose government moved to Taiwan in 1949. Under his rule, Taiwan underwent rapid industrialization, while education and infrastructure were significantly developed. Although the surrounding buildings are relatively modern, the entire square impresses not only with its architecture, but also with its remarkable open space, used today by residents for public gatherings, recreation, and family walks. We are heading toward Longshan Temple, founded in 1738, a place that has become a true symbol of resilience. Despite earthquakes, fires, and bombing during the Second World War, the temple survived, and even after serious damage, was carefully rebuilt. Longshan Temple brings together Buddhism, Taoism, and traditional folk beliefs, and depending on their needs, visitors pray to different deities for health, work, travel, or relationships. There is a unique atmosphere here, filled with the scent of incense and a sense of quiet energy. Alex tried to find answers to some of his questions by throwing jiaobei, also known as moon blocks, onto the ground. If one side lands flat and the other curved, it means yes. If both sides land curved, the answer is no. If both sides land flat, it is considered no clear answer. It is easy to understand why so many local people come here. The place offers a rare feeling of calm and reflection. After leaving the temple, Vincent took us for a short walk that allowed us to see a completely different side of Taipei. Small local shops, family-run restaurants, and everyday city life. Soon, we arrived at Bopiliao Historical Block, one of the few preserved parts of the city where historical streets dating mainly from the late 19th century still survive, together with architectural features from the Japanese period. For many years, Bopiliao was an important trading area, combining traditional southern Chinese architecture with later colonial influences. Its name is believed to come from an old local term connected with processing wood and tree bark. Today, the area is often used as a setting for films, historical productions, and photo shoots because of its distinctive atmosphere. After a fantastic day, Vincent, truly the best guide under the sun, drove us to Hilton Taipei Sinban. Since the port is located quite far from the city center, we decided it was the perfect opportunity to spend one night away from the ship. And as usual, I was already dreaming about a bathtub. The room felt so large that after spending so much time in our tiny cabin on board, it almost seemed unreal. The beautiful city view quickly made us want to go out again, this time in search of a bookstore. During that evening walk, what struck us most was how many faces Taipei has. After a quick dinner at a local cafe, we stopped by a bookstore for a few quick purchases, although inevitably, we also spent some time in the section with snacks and drinks. We promised each other that once we returned home, we would go back to healthier eating habits. After a beautiful sunset, we decided to check out the Rooftop Pool. If you enjoy cold water swimming, I can honestly recommend it. The air temperature was around 13 degrees, and the water felt almost the same. To the surprise of the lifeguard, there was indeed one volunteer ready to swim in that beautiful but icy pool. The next morning, we were genuinely excited about breakfast, something different from what we had become used to on the ship. It was a real pleasure to enjoy both local dishes and the classic variety found in international hotel breakfasts. Full of energy, we then set off toward Taipei 101. The building in front of us rises to 508 meters and has 101 floors above ground. The number 101 also symbolizes going beyond completeness and continuous progress. When Taipei 101 was completed in 2004, it became the tallest building in the world until the opening of Burj Khalifa. Its shape was inspired by bamboo and represents growth, resilience, and good fortune. To reach the observatory, you first pass through a shopping mall filled with luxury stores and striking installations. And this is exactly where Alex found his favorite chess display. After collecting your tickets and taking the elevator up, you are rewarded with spectacular views. Or sometimes no view at all if the city is covered in mist. The observation floor itself is full of charming photo spots, food counters, souvenir shops, and even a cafe, where we decided to send postcards to our family. Inside, visitors can also see the enormous tuned mass damper, a golden sphere weighing 660 tons, designed to stabilize the building against strong winds and earthquakes. During our stay, American climber Alex Honnold was expected to climb Taipei 101 in free solo style, meaning without ropes or safety equipment. But because of the weather, the attempt was postponed until the following day. We are leaving the city full of admiration for this place, hoping to return soon. But now another Taiwanese city is waiting for us, Kaohsiung.
Repel us, like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to support us and see more quick travel reviews.